and welcome back to Building with the Boys. It's been entirely too long, but we are nearly done. So you can see the build rooms coming together quite lovely at the moment. I've got a little bit more to do. I'm hoping to be finished today, and then I can get right back to building because I have got stuff building up now to build. So we will have Disney Doll's house. That is massively behind. That actually arrived the day I moved out of my old house. That arrived on the doorstep. So I've got to get that done. There's not loads doing that. It's just some wiring for the house. I've got to find where I want everything to go in here as well because I'm not sold on the layout yet, but I will be. It's very weird coming from a different environment now as well. I'm used to certain things being in certain places. Now I'm trying to find where they all are. But it's given me the perfect opportunity to kind of optimize. So I've been able to move things that have always bothered me in the old room into places where I like them now. So I'm more set up for it, and that's good. News-wise, I don't know. I'm so far out of it. I've not got a lot of news for you because I've just not been. I've had so much to do. I couldn't really tell you what is or isn't going on. The one thing I can tell you has launched now, and it is bloody impressive. Is the people over at Roker and Robot Time have released the biggest set they've ever done, and it's a pinball machine, and it is bloody impressive. And this is it. So that's the Roker pinball machine. Now that is retailing at $200. God damn. But as I've said before, keep your eye on Amazon. At some point, some fairly massive discount code's going to come through for that one. I can't see it ever dropping below 100, but who knows? I mean, the gramophone, for example, was at one point the most expensive when that was coming around about $100 or about 86 quid if you're in the UK. But I have seen codes for that would bring that down to around about the 40-50 quid mark. So I mean, you can get about 50%. In some cases, I have bought Robot Time models at 80% off. The Canon that I made, I got for £6. It was reduced from 40, which is huge. So if 200's a bit rich for your blood, doesn't mean you can't ever get one. But it just means you got to hold out. Now, what is unique about that one is that is not a completely wooden build. Okay, so it is a little bit deceptive. The top of it looks wooden, and you would imagine that inside that it's a wooden build, and it isn't. Inside there's a lot of plastic, there's a lot of metal, there's motherboards and things like that, because it does work as a pinball machine. So the buffers will buff, the flippers flip properly, there's lights and sounds and everything. I think it's gorgeous. Am I going to get one? I don't know. I'd like one, but I don't know how big that thing is. Until I've seen one, I don't know, because I would like one. I love pinball machines. I've spoken about it before. And the idea of building my own, I think, is very appealing. But I don't know. It doesn't have legs for a start. So there's no legs to it. So it's a tabletop thing. So it's having somewhere big enough for it to go to kind of give it justice. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think it is a very cute thing, and I would like one. I think they've done a magnificent job on it, because the people over at U-Gears have also released their own version of a pinball machine, which it's this one. This is the U-Gears pinball machine. So that's U-Gears' take on the pinball. I'm not loving that. I'll be honest with you. I think if you compare the two, they're night and day. I think the Roker pinball machine looks like a pinball machine. The U-Gears pinball machine is like a suggestion of a pinball machine. It looks like a pinball machine. You can tell it's what it's meant to be a pinball machine, but I don't know. The Roker one just looks better. It does. In my opinion, it looks a lot better. I think it looks more like a traditional pinball machine, which ultimately is what you're going to want. It's got the shape to it. It's a nice thing. I've seen it run. There is a video of it running. You can go to Roker's website and you can see that pinball machine running. But it is a beautiful thing. It is really nice. We should have shipped. Titanic has shipped, but because of the long weekend, I don't know how that is or isn't going to affect the post. That should be here next weekend. So the next 4 Titanic should be here next weekend. And by that time, we'll all be sorted. So we'll be back on schedule with that one. So we wouldn't have had any. Titanic would have been affected. The only video that's been affected by my house move is the Disney Doll's House, because that should have been up by now. It should have been up last weekend, wasn't. But it's, I mean, again, as I said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There's no such thing as being behind as such, so it's fine. But those will be, hopefully I can get those out today. Because I do have the premium, so I've got the latest premium figures for the Disney Doll's House as well, in the Mad Hatter and Pluto. They're very cute, they're very nice, and there's something weird about the Mad Hatter one, so we'll talk about that when we come to it. There's no word over at Fanhome. Fanhome, I don't know, there's a little bit of concern on my side, because Fanhome seem to have gone hell for leather on, now we've got this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I'm like, where are they then? Get what I'm saying? I know they're coming, I do, but I just think maybe, learn to walk before you start sprinting. And that there's an air of that about it. Because we were told January at one point for the 4 Legacy Eaglemoss models. Not one of those has come to fruition yet. Then we were advised late March, early April. Well, we are in early April, and we're heading towards mid-April. Still nothing, which is a concern. Now, I messaged them, and I had a brief conversation with them where I said, look, I'm not saying tell us a date and stick to it. What I am saying is, maybe because you've gone this long, maybe make a statement. Thank you for bearing with us. We can assure you that blah, 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 blah. But because we have all just come out of a very abusive relationship with Eaglemoss, where we had complete radio silence. Still to this day, Eaglemoss never released anything to say what was happening. You would think at this stage, eaglemoss.com or the old domain, whatever it is, would just have we are sorry to inform. It doesn't happen. So I still see people turn up on social media sites saying, I've not received an Nectar 1 in a while. What's happening? Because they don't know. No one was ever told. So, I mean, I would rather have bad news than no news. I know there's that saying no news is good news. I don't buy that. No news is somebody with a ton of bad news that don't want to tell you. That's what I would rather have. Bad news. I would rather be told, look, this is actually taking a lot longer than we thought it was going to take. We've realised Eaglemoss left an absolute cluster proverbial, and we're trying to sort it. We were hoping to have this out in March, but realistically, we're going to be looking at the second half of the year. I'd like to hear that. And I go, okay, I know where I am. Rather than me having to keep scurrying backwards and forwards to a website, like I'm sure all of you are, trying to find out, okay, well, when are we doing this then? Because again, the budget is part of this. So if you were planning on building one of these new, or you plan on finishing one off, you got a budget for it. I'm not in quite severe situation because I need 2 packs of Ecto 1. That's it. And I mean, one of those is only a half pack. To finish Ecto 1, that's it. That's all I'm getting of the Legacy Eaglemoss models. That's it. So I'm not overly affected. But if you were halfway through an Enterprise, all of a sudden Enterprise kicks in, well, you need the money to pay for it, don't you? So, I mean, people do need to budget for these things. They're expensive. So I genuinely believe Fanhome at this stage should say, this is what's happening. We appreciate this has been delayed. This is where we are. This is what's happening. Don't give us an exact date, but just give us something. Because what Eaglemoss gave us was nothing. And that's the situation I think we kind of feel it in Fanhome at the moment. So it would be nice for them to say, here's where we are. Bear with us, please. Anything is better than nothing. And at the moment, we're getting nothing. And then when you look at the newer ones that have come out, so we're looking at the Fast and Furious collection, we're looking at the Infinity Gauntlet, and we're looking at Optimus Prime. Again, nothing. Give us something. And like, I got into it with them because I had to change my address. So I got into it with them over the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm like, okay, so when's this coming? Can't tell you. Can't tell me or won't tell me. Because those are different things. If I won't tell you, okay, that's fine. It means there's a date, we're just not telling you. Can't tell you is no one knows. That doesn't fill you with confidence, does it? Now, I've no doubt that these things are going to turn up, and they are, but I just think as the consumer, it would be nice for them to give us an idea of what timescale we're looking at. I don't think that's asking too much. I really don't. I think that's asking very little, in fact. Thank you for signing up. And this is just going live Q3 of this year, Q4 of this year, Q2 of this year, whenever. But just tell us, give us an idea, because we do have the budget, and I think that's important. I do. But that's where we are with it. I mean, it's It is what it is. But I mean, that's what I get asked more than one of the things I get more asked more than anything is when is Hector 1 finishing? When is Enterprise starting back up? When is... I don't know. I don't know. The second I know, I will tell you. The minute I know, I will post and I will tell you. But as of right now, I can't tell you. The thing I think is going to happen, I genuinely think is going to happen, is Iron Man has sort of come to an end. He's got a few more pieces of the battle damage. The people that kept going for battle damage, I think have got 1 more month, possibly 2 more months of delivery. And people that build an R2-D2 will be finishing this month. So you should be getting your last pack. That's 99 and 100 of R2-D2 this month if you signed up when they relaunched it. So Iron Man and R2-D2 on their initial runs should be coming to an end this month or very early May. I have a theory that maybe that is when you will see the launch of the Infinity Gauntlet and the Optimus Prime, because I think maybe it will take the weight out, because the bulk of people do sign up to these things when they first launch. So the bulk of dispatches of Iron Man and R2-D2 all happen at the same time. Most people that did it on the second run are in the same place. Same with the Iron Man. Very few people are, only halfway through it. Most people are at the same place. They all kind of finished at the same time, and that's typically how part works work. Of course, there'll be people that come late to the party. There always is. But the majority of people sign up from the beginning and go right through to the end. They jump on these things. So I think the weight of distribution is going to be removed when there's no more R2-D2 to send out each month and there's no more Iron Man to send out each month. Or significantly reduce volumes of those. And that might be when we start seeing Infinity Gauntlet move and when we start seeing Optimus Prime. Because in warehouse space and things like that, you'd have to take it into account. If you keep getting these big pallets of R2-D2 turn up, you're going to need space in your warehouse for pallets of Infinity Gauntlet and pallets of whatever it is. So I think maybe that's what's going on. I believe their Street Fighter collection's coming to an end as well. So again, it might swap in and swap out. So those things will still be live, but the volume that they're going out in each month will reduce significantly. So maybe that's it. I mean, I don't know. This is a hypothetical, but that would make logistical sense to me, and it certainly makes supply chain sense to me. New models, nothing really to report. There's nothing that I've seen, but I mean, again, I am a little bit out of it, so I've missed something, I apologise. But I've not really seen anything in the ways of new part works, because we're in the wrong time of year. It's kind of summer, was the start of summer, spring, summer season. So what you'll get is typically you might get the second run of things. So you'll start to see things that collections is what you tend to get. So you might see that Jurassic World collection. You might see, but part work models typically start at the end of the year. You sometimes get one drop in the middle of the year. I think Eddie Stobart started around about September, I think. And I'm hoping that's what happens to the Lancaster Bomber. Now, I had a conversation with them about the Lancaster Bomber, and I asked them about how it's going to release, because I'm thinking, is they're going to go the way of Alien with this? And they're not. That's what they've told me. They've told me they're not going the way of Alien. Alien, I had to read between the lines, but it sounded to me Alien just hadn't been popular, hadn't been well received, but they had enough that they need to still launch it and sell the stock, and they had enough interest in it over here to do a launch, just not a full launch. It didn't have the kind of support and interest and enthusiasm that other models of it had, but it had enough that it warranted doing some kind of release. So they have released it in the way of Gore released something where you get these much larger packs each month at 100 quid a go. But it didn't get it. They didn't see that there was enough interest to launch it in a newsagent. So it doesn't mean that's the way Hachette are going indefinitely. It isn't. It was because they wanted to launch Alien, but at the same time they did not want to spend the market on it, which is why you wouldn't have seen television commercials for the Alien either, because it just wasn't there. Whereas the Lancaster Bomber, they said has got a much broader appeal. So they think that one's still going to launch in the traditional way, where it's going to launch through newsagents still weekly, and also in pack size they wouldn't commit to, but I believe we're going to be looking at the tumbler model. So you're going to be getting 6 at a time after an initial kind of delay of 2, 2, 2, 4, then a 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. That's where they're going. The reason for that is not because they're trying to skank you or get more money out of you. It's one of these things where unless they jack the prices up, which none of us want, because it can price themselves at the market. This is a way where they can save money on shipping. They're sending one shipment of 6. So if you think of it this way, so 2 shipments of 6 is 12. Normally that would have been 3 shipments. They're paying for the postage 3 times. They want to keep the postage costs as low as possible, and keep the packaging costs as low as possible. So I understand. So this way we get more in one go at a little bit of extra expense, but it means they haven't got to jack the price of the issues up significantly, which is good. I mean, for the consumer, that's good. Plus, 6, it's nice. And trust me, when those tumblers start coming in, and we'll talk about tumbler in a minute, when those tumblers start coming in at 6 at a time, and your model starts to build significantly, it's going to be nice. It's going to be good to see it. I'd like to do 6 at a time with the Doll's House, if I'm honest. Because the Doll's House has got an extension that runs to 200, to do 6 at a time instead of 4 at a time, I think would be quite nice. So if that did become an option for the extension, they're like, okay, if you want to do the extension, we're going to do packs of 10. I think that'd be great. I'd probably take their arm off for it, because it means I've not got to spend another 18 months doing it. I could get it done over 8 months at 10 at a time. I think would be fantastic. But it's not for everybody's wallet, it's not for everybody's budget, it's not for everybody's taste. But I think we have to be realistic with how part work's being shipped out, because fanhome are doing the same thing with the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet's going out in packs of 5. So you're getting 5 months as opposed to 4. Again, it's just to keep those costs down. That's what's there. It's to reduce the shipping costs without jacking up the individual price of the magazine too high. Tumbler. So Tumbler's shipped. So the next Tumbler dispatch we're going to be getting is going to be 7, 8, 9, and 10, and it is going to be a pack of 4, and that's the only pack of 4 we get. It's weird. Once we've had that pack of 4, we then switch to the 6-week dispatch. So we'll be getting 6 issues every 6 weeks, and I'm fine with that, because again, it's nice to see you'll have this nice big pack to do, and it'll build up quite nicely. I say that I know a lot of people have been disappointed from messages I've received and comments I've seen, have been disappointed about the build of the tumbler so far. It's normal. I know it's disappointing, because you kind of want these big, sexy, sort of sleek pieces, and that's not what you're getting at this stage. And stage 9 looks particularly insulting, which is due out in the newsagents next week. We're due to receive it next week through the subscription, because you get half a wheel. So when we got the original tumbler tire, we got the whole thing. So we got the tire and the rims, and it's screwed together, and that's what we got. That's not what you're getting for the second one. So for the second one, you're getting half of that. So you're just getting the rims. I don't know what you're going to be building in pack 9, because it looks like nothing. Because you can't put that rim together without the tire. So I've got a feeling pack 9, you're not doing anything unless you're screwing half of the rim to the brake disc that's already been made in pack 8. I don't see what you're doing. I really don't. There is nothing to do in stage 9. So it'll be interesting. Whatever there is to do in stage 9 is going to be minimal. And then stage 10 is going to be the same. Because come stage 10, all you're actually going to do is take the 2 rims from 9, put them together and screw it together. So I'd imagine stage 10 is just the tire. I mean, it will then screw to the brake disc. So I suppose at stage 10, you should have the shape of the front of the tumbler. You should have both wheels in place, and the start of the steering and the suspension it should look quite nice. But don't get disheartened. If this is your first time doing one of these, you're thinking, hold on, where's my Batmobile? It's coming. Now, the one thing I can say as well is typically with these, in the ones where issues where you get very little, it would suggest later on we're going to get something fairly major. So you're going to get some bloody big pieces of tumbler at some point when you start looking at chassis and frame, and you're going to get some massive pieces of tumbler come through. When you look at the servo motors that go into this thing, you're going to get some fairly complex electrics as well. So this is the economics of it. This is how it works. Every now and then you'll get an issue where you're thinking that is not worth $10.99, but then you'll get one where you go, Jesus, that's this hulking great lump of metal, and you're thinking, how is that only $10.99? Well, it isn't. It's because it's just spread out over all the builds. So unfortunately, it frustrates me that these companies do this early on. So I think if you are new to the hobby and it's just not building up as it should, because I mean we're 4 months into the build now, and we don't really have anything. But it's coming. It is coming. I mean, there's the thing. So when you start getting these 6-packs come through, this thing's going to start to build significantly. So just keep the faith, hang in there, and we'll be looking good. On the next one as well, we'll be doing our Bat Talks. We'll be talking about the 89 Batmobile, which is my Batmobile. I love the 89 Batmobile. I love everything about the 89 Batmobile. However, I've got quite a funny story about the 89 Batmobile because I had to hire one for a marketing thing that was done for a company I work for. They say never meet your heroes, right? The 89 Batmobile's my hero. Jesus, it's not a good car. I mean, it looks beautiful, but beyond that, it's all style, no substance. But we'll talk about that when we do those videos. We will be back to normal service as of tomorrow, I'd say. I've got the last bits and pieces. I mean, it looks quite nice from where you can't see the floor. The floor is a bloody mess in here. I've got stuff everywhere. I've still got a few bits and pieces to go up on the wall. I've got Vigo's up over there. I've got some of my things. I mean, I'll give you a full show around the room when we're all set up and in place. And we'll show you the what's on your shelf. And then we'll go through all of that. But I will be back. I mean, either tonight or tomorrow with Disney Doll's House, and then we are just back to service as normal. And I have got for Easter, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I've wanted to build this for ages. I have got the Roker Chocolate Factory. So I am going to start building this today. This will be up, hopefully, for Bank Holiday Monday, if not Easter Sunday, because I think a chocolate machine at Easter is just perfect, isn't it? So this one's going to be an absolute beaut. I've been wanting to do this for so long. And I can't wait. I'm smiling already just looking at it because I know this is going to be fun. That's all from me for now. If you have any questions, you can send them to buildwiththeboys@outlook.com. Happy to help you with anything I can. Anything I know I can tell you. Anything I can help with, I will. If you want to show us your work, we always like seeing your work. And if you're happy for me to show it on the channel as well, we will. I have had some pictures of a Titanic build sent through to me, and it looks really nice. I'm not going to say the name of who it is yet because I've got to go back to them and make sure they're okay with it. If they are, I will show you the work they've done on their Titanic engine room. It looks really nice. It really does. But I just want to make sure they're okay with it, and if they are, I'll show you their work. And we're happy to do that. We're happy to, this is... Take a look. The community want to see it. We always want to see it. If someone's done something, no matter how outlandish it is, if it's your first time, whatever it is, people like to see it. They really do. It's a different interpretation of something. And just because, if someone doesn't like it, that doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's not for them. You want to paint your Titanic pink, I want to see it. I want to see it. So this is, it's always good. If you've done some modification you'd like us to see and you're happy for us to show it, when you send me the picture, please say happy to show on the channel and we'll share it with everyone and they can all see your work. That's it for this one. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And I will catch you very soon for more from Building with the Boys. I'll see you then.